15 years ago and the Gambia now?
Well, to me, it's like day and night. I was here in just 2008, and in 2003 and in 2008, I drove myself around, jumped in the car and drove around. In 2012, I cannot drive around in the Gambia anymore.
Why?
Because I seem to get lost in my own neighborhood. There is so much development, so much building, so much construction, houses, compounds that were so huge are now so tiny because we have so many buildings in one compound. So it's so much going on, all the businesses, the expansions, and this is why I'm very passionate about coming back to invest, because I want to be able to contribute to the socio-economic development of this country. I like what I see, and I want to be a contributor to what I see.
Thank you very much, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Guilty as charged. The trial of the former president of Liberia, Charles Ganke Taylor, comes to an end, at least for the time being, pending his sentencing and appeal, after he was found guilty of aiding and abetting war crimes and crimes against humanity in Sierra Leone. But the ramifications of the trial will be felt beyond the sub-region as the debate over his conviction rages. The trial of the former Liberian leader, Charles Ganke Taylor, had dragged on for 5 long years with 91 prosecution witnesses testifying against him. In the end, he was found guilty on 11 counts of aiding and abetting war crimes and crimes against humanity, including murder, rape, and conscripting child soldiers. This stemmed from his role in the brutal civil war in Sierra Leone, in which thousands of people were killed and thousands more had their limbs cut off by rebels of the Revolutionary United Front. Charles Taylor is the highest profile person to be ever convicted by the UN-backed court and the first former African head of state to be charged and found guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity since the conviction of Nazi war criminals in the aftermath of the Second World War. This conviction is hailed by many as a landmark event. It's a major victory for human rights.
In my mind, and in the minds of over 75% of the Liberian people in Minnesota is not still guilty. Guilty. We predicted that there will be a political judgment rendered at the end of the day. And the Americans and brothers will just prove us right. And so it's a mockery of democracy.
They point to the numerous atrocities perpetrated by the RAF rebels who received their backing from Taylor in exchange for blood diamonds. These victims of the war feel very embittered, and for most of them, Taylor's conviction is justice well served.
They attacked us in a displaced camp in Gundamabu, and we were running away. I was shot in the leg and it was badly broken. Later on, the Red Cross and government troops came and found me and some dead people. They took me to Boo Hospital where my leg was amputated, and because I had been diagnosed with tetanus. I felt bad because I was not expecting it. I was 17 years old. I was with my family, hiding from one place to another, and we walked long distances until we finally came to stay in the camp.
For Taylor's supporters and sympathizers, the whole trial of the former leader is a charade, a conspiracy by Western powers and their African cronies to get rid of Taylor because he was opposed to American neo-colonialist policies in Liberia.
The rule of law must be reinforced, and the selective use of international justice must be denounced. Everything has to start at home with an independent and impartial justice system.
The $250 million, according to some analysts, spent on the 5-year trial, some argue, could have been spent to improve the lives of the thousands of amputees and other war victims, most of whom lack basic necessities of life. But whatever the case, the debate will continue to rage as attention turns to the role of the UN-backed International Criminal Court, which has long been accused of targeting African leaders, whilst other alleged war criminals in other parts of the world, particularly the West, remain free, protected by their powerful governments who run the international system. His fate having already been decided, Mr. Taylor will be sentenced at the end of May and will spend his imprisonment in Britain. But he will have the chance to appeal his conviction, a laborious process that may take years, consuming millions of additional dollars in a trial that has already broken the record as the most expensive in the history of the ICC.
Authorities in Gabon are trying to dissuade people from engaging in unhealthy and unreligious practice, slowly engulfing Gabonese society. It all started recently when several people realized the increasing number of citizens killed as a result of human sacrifice. It seems there is light at the end of the tunnel as one man is bringing to lead a noble crusade meant to draw the attention of people on the dangers of fittest beliefs.
Elvis Ebang is a teacher and father who lives in Libreville, Gabon. He will never forget what occurred on this beach in March of 2005.
It was here that they found the body of my son. His corpse had been butchered like an animal's. The beach at Libreville is a dumping ground for bodies. They're left here after whatever's needed from them has been removed.
In Gabon, cases of ritual murder have risen alarmingly. Efforts by police have proved ineffective. Not one arrest has been made so far. Earlier this week, President Ali Bongo took steps to fight this growing phenomenon.
If the law is unable to help us resolve this problem, then we will change it. And let me say it again, that no one is above the law.
Mr. Ebang hopes that these promises result in action. Like many parents, he now walks his children to and from school.
Almost all parents do it, and this affects the economy. There are people who can no longer keep normal working hours. You can't finish your work properly when you're in a hurry to get to school to pick up your children.
He has set up an organization with the families of other victims. He has collected a file of press cuttings and the testimonies of witnesses concerning these murders. One point these crimes have in common is that the killers were seeking specific organs chosen for their unique magical properties.
The purpose of the tongue is speech. With it you gain the power of persuasion. The sexual organs are used to increase virility. The heart is power, the power over love, so that people can be manipulated to love someone they hate.
These beliefs are shared by a number of secret societies. Mr. Ebang is trying to fight these practices by speaking to the public. His association has launched an awareness-raising campaign to persuade the more superstitious of Gabonese that power and fortune cannot be won through the murder of a child.
In the name of development, but for what purpose? Bolivians are questioning the rationale behind the construction of a highway that many believe will divide rather than unite them. An indigenous tribe has been protesting against the construction of the highway since August last year. Let's look at this report more on how the development is perceived by different peoples.
They are revving up their engines in Bolivia.